The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good yawning this morning and welcome back to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, your station for fresh news, smart talk all day. It is Thursday, the 25th of June, 2026, and you are on the clock with Erin, the Prophet Greene. Not a prophet, P-R-O-F-I-T, because I can't make no money without any electricity. But I am a prophet because I told you a long time, buy generators, buy alternate power supply tools, buy surge protectors, buy these things. Why? Because I could smell it. It was reminiscent. It was a nostalgia on the wind, like a pre-1992 kind of vibe. You could just smell it everywhere in New Providence. On the eastern end of the island, what we still smelling is really the remnants of 20 plus years of total electricity chaos. And now, unfortunately, and I do mean that now, unfortunately, our brothers and sisters on the western end of the island are experiencing what Bahamians have experienced on the eastern end and the southern side of the island for decades. However, I think maybe who is hit hardest of all are family island residents. Family island residents. And we're being hit with if not a triple whammy, a double whammy, right? Because not only, and maybe even a quadruple whammy. See, not only do we not have access to consistent electricity, right? Exorbitant, right? We saw the article earlier this year. Is it Grand Bahama Power Company specifically, or the Bahamas broadly, paying exponentially higher rates than the rest of the region? So you can't get a consistent power supply. You're still paying exorbitant amounts of money. See, when I grew up, like people say, hey, Erin, you don't seem to have clued in to stream, right? Like you live in a kind of alternate life. I can tell you something. I got PTSD. I didn't even have to pay the bill. But to understand that there were Bahamians whose light bill was the same as their mortgage, right? Like, we lucky we have morale in this country at all. At all. We deride people and say, oh, people like things. If they didn't like things, we'd have nothing going in this country. Because what morale is there, right? People work so they could have nice experiences. And if those experiences are wrapped up in things, then so be it. Because it can't be wrapped up in comfort. It can't be wrapped up in the security of knowing that the electricity gonna just work. Like in other jurisdictions, you don't ever question it. It just works. Right? So we got, you can't keep the power on. We're paying exorbitant amounts of money, have access to peace. And just in case you haven't been to like a science class recently, do you know how electricity works? Like you don't get a packet, we pay for it like kilowatt per hour. You pay for parcels of electricity, but the way that it works is that if you don't get continuous parcels of electricity, then you ain't got no electricity. See, but we are being called to pay for blocks because we could only experience it in blocks, right? Then the third whammy is the complete and utter lack of clarity and transparency about the whole affair. Now, a lot of people are sitting here just saying, well, how are we going to solve these issues right now? And I'm here once again to tell you, you cannot solve these issues right now without stepping back decades into the past to understand how we got here. Now, I will once again invite you to a meeting at CI 1622 Avenue and Frank Watson Boulevard, at that intersection right there. But I have a feeling that that's only a starting point. We're going to have to hit reverse and still go back a little further. But if you're not starting your conversation at least there, at the time that Alstom became a talking point in the country, and the chair of the board was brought before the courts for a matter pertaining to generators, right? Like, if you're not going all the way back there, you have no chance of solving this problem. We've not gotten any answers on who actually made the decision to purchase those generators when Ramsey was the head of the board. We have not had a public statement as to who turned on the generator that then resulted in the generator bursting up in flames. We've not been given the report, the investigative report has not been published, or at least the public has not been made aware of where it's located. We still don't know who will bear the blame for engines being put in a building that was not fit for purpose and had chunks of concrete falling out of it. We still don't know these things. How you think we're going to solve this problem? And look how much bigger the problem has gotten. An entity that we were told is named Bahama Grid Company, that was comprised 60% of Island Grid Solution and 40% of BP, 25 years, and the contract ended apparently in 2 years. See, we were told the contract would last 25 years. That doesn't mean that those were the terms of the contract that was agreed upon. That doesn't mean that those were the terms of the contract that was tabled in the House of Assembly. It just means that that's what we were told. Right? We still don't know who owns the 60% that we were told Island Grid Solutions would hold in this partnership. We still don't know why they left after 2 years, but nothing is working correctly. We're going to get into these articles today, especially the ones in the Guardian main page, Guardian business section. Good morning, caller.
Hey, good morning, Ms. Greene. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
My dear Foxilian friend. Hey, a quick question, right? That's a blast from the past, right? A politician by the name of Leslie Portcake Miller, right? He proposed years ago that we got oil from Venezuela. How did he foresee like this was going to happen? Why go ahead with that decision? Remember, we supposed to get all the cheap oil from Venezuela for I think it was BC at the time, right? Why we never ventured into that?
Well, I would tell you,
he was crazy for getting the oil from Venezuela. Come to find out, that would have been a very good idea.
I would tell you, go ask Marco Rubio, but like me, Marco Rubio was a child when those decisions were being made. I suspect it have something to do with the U.S., though.
Venezuela doing their head bad right now. You think we can revisit that situation?
You can't see your own phone tried to hang up on me? Your phone tried to hang up on me when I said that just now, you know. I don't think we could revisit that decision right now.
Well, that would have been a good decision, though.
I mean, we could go to Venezuela, but it wouldn't be the same Venezuela, right? It would be a different Venezuela we would be asking.
Yeah, but how come, but whatever happened to that, like, why they never proceeded with that idea?
You ain't hearing me. I understand that you're not hearing me. I suspect that the United States of America dissuaded us from making that decision.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Whether it was a direct conversation or a quick assessment of the landscape and our relationship with the U.S. at the time, perhaps someone was dissuaded from the decision.
I got you.
Yeah.
No problem then.
I got you. All right. So we're looking at today's Guardian. Oh, wait, here we go. Text. And I think I see some Family Island people, so I want to get to the text line. Here we go. I do not understand BEC. Haven't we had, quote, peak, close quote, electrical use for decades? Didn't Foucault and Pike examine all the data to present their case for a remedy to the government? Didn't they also take into account all development in the pipeline and the rate of applications coming into BTC for private connections? I don't get it. If none of this was taken into account and they're surprised, as Colby Davis wants us to believe, their business plan was complete garbage. The text speaks to this consistent claim that it's unexpected demand for electricity. Listen, see, I don't get it. Because if anything, if the speaker had any value for us, it would be to remind us the darkies is heat up the place. And you could need plenty of electricity, right? She all didn't need. Good morning, Erin. Please send out a SOS to Clay Sweeting. Please let him know the power in Eleuthera is off again. I don't know how long these elderly people can take this. It's off every day. Listen, I would form a nonprofit organization, a citizen action group. I would try to get some lawyers to figure out what's the best way to approach the government. I'm not saying force their hand, right? But if my medication, if the efficacy of my medication, that means if it's going to work, it needs to be refrigerated consistently over a period of time, then I'm trying to figure out how to compel the government to just do its job so I don't die. Like, we need a citizen action group that will invest the money, time, and resources in putting together a campaign with the legal aspect, whatever, to show the government what its actual obligation to its citizens are, the obligations are. You have people on medication that requires refrigeration. Electricity is a basic. The same way y'all think 2 meats is a basic. The same way y'all think snacks and hors d'oeuvres and travel and AC in your cabinet meeting is a basic. People need electricity so they don't die. This is, like, I could imagine how the people in the West feel, right? I could imagine how they feel. Let's go to the phone line. Producer. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Ms. Greene. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
All down in Pride State when I purchased my home back in 2026. The first thing I did after fencing in my yard to protect it, I invested in a generator. Mm-hmm. Now, the problem is, if you don't know nothing about generators and stuff, you got a mechanic, whatever they call them. Mm-hmm. And then if you don't turn your generator occasionally, at least once a month, let it run, the gas, sometimes they tell me, will settle. And when you really go to turn it on, it doesn't come on because the gas is settled, clog up some of the valves. You might need to change the oil. You might need to change the spark plug. Mm-hmm. And the problem is when you try to call these technicians, they promise you, I'm coming tomorrow. And, they say you're complaining about things, stuff, but they don't show up tomorrow. Mm-hmm. They don't show up next week. They don't show up for a month. And you keep calling them. They keep saying, the spark guy on the way to you. Mm-hmm. So now I don't know how to service the thing. And I can't get the numbers for nobody to tell me who to call to get it. And some people that don't show up. Mm-hmm. And then now they're telling us about the BBL. And I think one of the problems is the population explosion in the Bahamas compared to the usage of what we had back then, like you said. Everybody's leaving the other islands, the Family Islands or out islands, because things are tough. They send their children up here for further education. They never go back home to start the island. Then we have a lot of illegal people and foreigners coming to New Providence.
Listen, illegal people and foreigners. Who is the illegal people and who is the foreigners? Now, my finger, I have to have a word with my finger, Sparky. My finger may have just jumped and hit the button. My finger may have just jumped and hit the button when you say that, right? But certainly there's a lack of forethought. There's a lack of actual planning, right? There's a lack of organization. There's a lack of clarity. Producer, let's prep that caller. Here's a text, and we're going to go to the caller. The USA blocked that as Venezuela was said to be an enemy of the USA. Good morning, caller.
My niece, Miss Greene, how are you doing this morning?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. You think if the government maybe could cut some type of, I don't like to use the thing deal, but have some type of talk with Bahama where they could run their generator in the night and take some of the load off the grid up in the western area. You think Bahama run a lot of current?
Yeah, it could potentially help. It could help, but I don't like that idea. See, because what are we doing again? We're shifting the burden from the state to a private sector, right? To a no. Hold on.
I hear you, but you rather that than the people have current, or the people just don't have the current. If they're willing to do that, you could always work.
I don't like being extorted. I don't like being put in a position like that. My government going to extort me? My government going to extort me over something as basic as electricity?
This government, all government.
That's what I say. I didn't say PLP. I didn't say PLP. All.
Say something else.
Yeah.
You pass all of these government buildings, all of these schools in the night, all kind of light on.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't having no night classes in there.
No.
All kind of light on, unless somebody's having a meeting there, some type of meeting or something. That's a difference. But you don't need the whole school to be light up in the. I mean,
I agree
for security reasons, but
the only real consideration we have is the way that the building, right? So we know that.
Well, all the computer ain't all over the school and all over them offices.
But we know they're in the offices and not the schools, even though they should be in the schools. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate the point that you're making, that we could have better administrative management of many spaces and reduce the pull on the electricity. But in some instances, what we really need to do is go back to the drawing board and ask, why are we constructing buildings that require the entire building to be air conditioned at a very low temperature the whole time? Surely we understand that you need climate control for the technology, right? There's climate control for the technology, but the question is, why are all the lights on and why is the AC blasting all the time? Why aren't we? Why are we not implementing smarter HVAC, that's heating and air conditioning and ventilation systems, right, that allow us to control, to set different temperatures in different parts of the building? Here's a text. Good morning, Erin. Hope you are well. We have the outages on Cat Island, too. Listen, if you want to get a good sense of that, read this article from Monday of this week in the Nassau Guardian. You can find it online. BPL issues worsen across country. It starts off, we're talking about New Providence and then focus on Western New Providence, but it'll identify for you the areas on the Family Islands that acted the most. And thank you, Texter, because no, you're right. I don't see Cat Island on this list. We've got Eleuthera, Rock Sound Power Station, Hatchet Bay, Governor's Harbor, Palmetto Point, Savannah Sound. We go to Topham Bay. We go to Abaco, Central and North Abaco, Little Grand Key, Manawar Key, Treasure Key, right? They're talking about the Wilson City Power Station, Murphytown and Hopetown, Lowe's Key, Scotland Key, and then Long Island as well, and then Great Harbor Key, and the text is saying Cat Island as well being impacted. See, now I want to just go back for a second to the point, the triple whammy, the lack of clarity. So all of the Family Island solar energy contracts that were tabled, because remember, Jo Beth Colby told us everything but the one the Prime Minister is not wrong, it's us, it's our bad. Every contract has been tabled in the House of Assembly except this one, right? So the Family Island people are trying to figure out, so when will these new operations come into play? When will they see resolution? When will they see sense from y'all? Here's another. It says, good morning, darkies. Does he up the plate? I don't know. Anyway, that's the type of warm heat I love. I don't understand what people is be thinking, you know. If they do, that's the type of heat I want to touch my heart. Do you now, or have you ever done stand-up comedy? You would be really good, in my opinion. Yes, I have had a very small stand-up career. I used to perform at the Hub, and I used to perform at Bamboo in town opposite Junkanoo, Babalu, opposite Junkanoo Beach. Here we go. Erin, I lives in Eleuthera. This is the best the people ever had it, and they talking about power off. They are ungrateful. Producer, we have mosquitoes sending texts because they know human. I mean, I'm not calling you a mosquito texter. It was just a joke. However, what are you talking about? No, there was a period between, like, it improved for a little bit, didn't it, Eleuthera? It improved for a little bit. And then remember the people said, listen. Lighthouse Point in no way is going to disturb or impact electricity supply, right? Like the people, and I raised the concern myself, how much of the power resources being built in Eleuthera would benefit the broader society? Or is it all just for, we've been talking about this. The text says, you're right, quote, Doc, he's heating up the place, close quotes, is likely what they left out the business plan. Anyway, the action item is for everyone to, quote, use electricity responsibly, close quotes, 10 p.m. at night when it's 90 degrees inside the house. It looks like this issue will boil down to the same root cause of all the other issues. We just can't behave. One bathe, one wash clothes and use AC. Yeah, like y'all just so unruly. I agree, Texter. Y'all so unruly. Like you want to bathe and then don't have to bathe in another hour because it's hot and you done sweat up all the niceness off your body. Like the children want to do, like them young boy who want to do their homework after they get back from a long day of school and then working a full job. And all they want to do is just do some homework with the fan on because they can't afford AC, because even though they're 16 and they are the main breadwinner in their own house, the money that they make in, they can't buy a AC with their own money. And even if they did buy a AC with their own money, they would probably put it in the largest room or in their mummy room because they just love their family. And that's why they break in their back at 16 to try and make something work. Yeah, it's us. It's us. I mean, the political class. We are the problem. Here is another. Oh, let's go to the phone line. Good morning, Texter. Thank you for your patience. Caller. Sorry, you there?
Yes, Erin. Morning.
Morning. My bad. How you do?
Morning.
Good.
Hello?
I hear you.
Okay. Erin, the current in Stapleton yesterday was off from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
We had some people came down for tournament. They were quite uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Tell little Kim them they got to get it together, man.
Yeah.
Little Kim, they got to get it together.
Yesterday, in fact, I have a friend I have to call and apologize to. When I left this building yesterday at close to midday, close to 12, for the first time, I felt the hot air on my skin and in my lungs at the same time. And every plan I had for the day went out the window.
Yes. It's just even in a good time to drink a hot cup of tea.
Yeah.
Tell little Kim them give us a break, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Now, I was wondering when we can see the next promotional video from one of these government actors. One thing they're good at is making promotional videos. The music, we go into a break. Text us. We're going to get back to the text line as soon as we return. We're going to get into some of these headlines. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
Put more money back in your pocket with the Fidelity Debt Consolidation Loan. Why pay more when you can pay less? Reduce your monthly debt payments down to one low, easy payment. Apply for a Fidelity Debt Consolidation Loan today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
At Cleveland Clinic, You set your course, not cancer. So when your journey takes an unexpected turn, you seek out the experts who've conquered it before, and you forge new paths to help fight cancers. For every route to a cure, for every care in the world. See how we're innovating cancer care at Cleveland Clinic today.
Support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Guess who's back?
It's that time again for the 31st annual Michael Scuderi Peace on the Streets Basketball Classic.
Bring it on now, let's go.
Whether you're a player or a fan, you don't want to miss this one. The action starts July 13th at the Hope Center. Log on to peaceonthestreets.com and register. Come on, everybody, we're going! That's the Peace on the Streets Basketball Classic, where we shoot hopes instead of guns. Game time.
For fast, reliable, and impactful printing services, look no further. Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life. We stand by our quality products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Printmasters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. We can deliver any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards. You name it, we can print it.
Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Struggling to find your financial rhythm? Make that move to Fidelity and let us help you orchestrate your financial goals into perfect harmony with free financial coaching sessions. Make that move today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Good morning and welcome back to On the Clock with Erin Greene. Like I told you, text line, had numbers to call, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, 242-300-5720. Toll free for Family Island listeners. Give us a call or text us at 422-GR9. Island, give a text. We'll announce it over the airwaves. Hopefully, if BPL is unaware, then they will then be aware. Business section, headline, Economist, Bahamians need answers on the country's energy future. It's going to be a very long, hot summer, and I'm deadly worried about my electricity bill. I argue that Bahamians need answers also on the country's energy past. Because if the same people who were involved in past decisions are involved in future decisions, maybe we have a problem greater than the inability to maintain one of the most basic functions in a country. But I can be honest with you, you can't maintain the post office. It's not functioning properly. You can't maintain the public roads. They're not functioning properly. And you can't maintain basic, consistent electrical supply. Let's go to the text line. Erin, most of the so-called Progress PLP candidates were voted in as MPs in the House of Assembly by Family Island Day. Now, say what? Now they're complaining about power outages. It's too late now, so let them continue to sweat for the decisions they made. They should have changed this government for another party for real change. No, we should have given them, like the people who say that should have given them a real alternative to vote for. Here's what I suspect a lot of Family Islanders use, right, when they're making this decision. It's this. If you're a Family Island seat, right, You have an MP that's not a part of the government. You ain't gonna see no love. You ain't gonna see no love. You see Whitney Bastian as an independent, took what that was, Mangrove Key or South Andres. I mean, he took it with confidence. The people were ready for change. They supported him. And he was unable to get, he wasn't able to get anything done. The people saw the writing on the wall, which is that if there, and Boise was an independent, right? So it's not even a party to support him, right? First of all, this political culture, what's the word I'm looking for, is like vengeful. They spiteful, right? And so Family Islanders, after decades of being played with, have realized that if your MP is not a part of the government, not only is it unlikely you can get things done, but they have a spiteful air about it as well. So ain't nobody from the COI need to get up in my face today to tell me that the COI that was presented at the polls was ready to take the government and govern the country. Don't tell me that. When Minnis was the prime minister, he got the same level of critique, barring one thing. The pandemic was such a thing that I had to be very careful that I wasn't creating a public discourse that would would leave people thinking that I am telling them whether to take the vaccine or not, that I am telling them what to do with their body, right? But other than that, get the same level of critique that this PLP is getting. And the COI would get the same as well. The COI, y'all ain't ready for the big show. But that we see the situation unfold, right? That a Family Island seat would vote in a way which leaves them, their party, they say the opposition MP wins, but their MP of choice wins, but they're not a part of their government. The MP they elect is not a part of the government. They're going to have a lot of issues. And people realize that. So you asking people to do something that just may not be pragmatic. Further to that, this is what I was supposed to say. When we see that happen, we don't support those constituencies, We don't say we support your right to determination, and we don't think that you should be treated like a stepchild or outside child because you didn't vote for the government. Even if our MP is a part of the governing team, different decision. Let's go to the phone line. Producer. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Erin. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Listening to this conversation about the power outages and everything, and it is sad that politicians, both within the past, I would only go as the past 10 years, 15 years. They basically guaranteed the Bahamian people that we were going to see a reduction or just a total annihilation of issues as it pertains to our power grid within a certain time frame. Mm-hmm. That's the interesting question I just thought about as I listened to you a couple minutes ago. Our closest, the closest country that has I would suspect a very good power grid would be Florida, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
My question is, I basically would like to know what is the technology that they're using there. I'm pretty sure that they're probably not using fossil fuel, but they're probably up to either what we call renewable energy or even nuclear. If we're going to invest all this money into maintaining the same old grid, but we're also trying to tie other things to this grid, don't you think now that we should have a revolution, whereas we now try to move away from doing things the same old that is not working for us and attempt to come in with something new? Don't you think it's about time that Bahamian people now we're talking about progress here? We're not progressing with the system.
Yeah.
And, you know, the more they try to talk about the transmission and distribution, yeah, that's only one part of it. But let's look at the heart of the system, and that would be the generators and the turbines. Yeah. What are we doing in terms of those? Are we moving up to perhaps renewable to a certain extent, but the
Jeff, you know,
would be probably nuclear?
What are we doing? These are great questions, right? Which we cannot answer fully until we understand what happened with Alstom, right? When we got those bad generators. And then the second round of generators that were put in the building not fit for purpose. And we still, like, remember when they said, oh, we bought 7 generators. And then some wild on. Like,
but not only that,
hold on. Jeff, let me finish this point just quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
And then the government came back and clarified, well, 2 generators are always down for maintenance. So you will only ever have 5 generators up, right? And a slew of back and forth questions with no real clarity. For us to answer these questions, like what does the future of energy generation look like? We need to know what the actual present state of energy generation looks like. And even though we had this big rollout of PR, professional PR material and videos and flyers, we still have no real clarity on what exists in our, I want to say in our toolbox, right? Like we still have no clarity on exactly what types of generators did we have and how many are functioning. And like in terms of their lifespan, right? At what point in their lifespan are they at? Have we used up 20% of their lifespan? We have no idea because the politics keeps clouding the governance. But me and you, we get paid a bill.
It is so sad, Erin. It is so sad. And let me just add this little caveat and then I'll get off the phone. And then when they claim that they tried to kick or bring in service one of the other generators that was offline, they brought it online. Then they said that the entire infrastructure, the building and everything shook and stuff. So, you know, these are the things, even though they would like to think that the Bahamians aren't aware of these certain questions that have been asked before and the concerns that because if we're talking about a 22nd century Bahamas, if I could use that term, we are progressing forward. We cannot progress forward if we don't even have a substantial electrical capacity to keep our country running 24/7, despite the fact that, hey, a hurricane may come or whatever. But even in that case, we should have a redundancy in place that we could kick the main systems offline, kick the alternative online, and keep the country running. But if we cannot continue going down this road, this has been a real heavy burden on the Bahamian people, even before us. But we seem as if we are not getting anywhere fast to change the systems that are in place. Last point, if fossil fuel and the person who's supplying the fossil fuels is the general focus of this whole scenario, why we are not advancing, we need to really examine who is really behind this stuff keeping us back at this level. Thanks for taking my call. I'll continue to listen.
Absolutely. Producer, let's go to the next caller. Thank you for your patience. Good morning. You still there, caller? I hear you. Caller, I hear you. But you ain't saying nothing. I'm sorry, we got to drop that call. Numbers to call, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, 242-300-5720, toll free for Family Island listeners. Text line, 422-GR96. Let's go to this caller quickly and then back to the text line. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Mrs. Greene. Always a pleasure to listen to your informative, well-researched show. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
But I agree with Mr. Jeff. I believe there's something behind this whole power thing, darling. There's no reason why we cannot upgrade and fix these. We're living in 2026, and we're still operating like 1971, not even 73. But I agree with Mr. Jeff. I think there's
yes, ma'am.
What is behind this? This could have been resolved in many, many, many different ways already with all the technology in this myself in terms of who's really profiting and why is it still like this? And these are our people who's supposed to be taking care of us and looking out for us. And we paying the bills so they can afford to live on the standard of life that they want. And it's just, it's hurtful.
Yeah. It's important for young people to understand why older people have the attitudes that they have, right? Like,
yeah.
In the 90s, your light bill was the same as your rent or your mortgage. We've normalized that,
Yes.
right? And then turn around and call people broke and demean them because they can't meet these basic needs when we refuse to acknowledge that we naked, the emperor naked, ain't no clothes left in the city.
We done for us to make it, baby.
We done lock up all the tailors and seamstresses.
Okay, and you see who got the tailor shops now, and they air conditioned, child, please. And anyway, listen, I can tell you, I haven't been in a Bahamian tailor shop all my life, and my father was a Bahamian tailor, John Kenrick, Freeport.
And I wish I had sense because, it take me to reach the age of 50 to realize that my body type, only tailor could make clothes for me.
Yes,
Right.
I agree with you. Some bodies she only get her pants and skirts and stuff made when she was working and stuff like that because she used to help daddy sew.
And so here's the thing, right? Like the merchant culture and the political culture have bent our minds, right?
Yeah.
Because we think that we have this model. People will go and find some of the least expensive goods and put them in a store front. Brick and mortar, jack the prices up. Why? Because they got to pay for electricity just to maintain the building.
Yes, they have to live.
They have to live too, right? But we have a model where we should be, like the bulk of the import should be the cloth, not the finished good.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
And
we've moved away from so much things that was just good for our society.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's just all about, the grind, and then after you're finished grinding, all the money gone.
You know what? I wish I could be honest with y'all. Sometimes I wish I was 30 years younger with this knowledge, right?
Me too.
Because I would tell any man, if I'm looking for a husband, I say, look here, if you can't build me a house with the kitchen semi-detached from the house, so when we cook, we don't heat up the house and have to spend.
And don't smell like
spend half our mortgage money on electricity, right?
Wow.
I would say, look here, if you don't know how to build a rock oven outside, boy.
For real, that's the best bread in the world.
Don't come heel and toe me if you don't know how to do that. Like you say,
Thank you so much for taking my call.
Absolutely.
All we could continue to do is try to do our best and move forward, no matter what.
Absolutely, and be open to holding space for others. Space we learn and we can improve. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Agreed. Thank you too.
All right, we're gonna get back to the text line. Erin, the government raising prices but not maintaining anything. But on another note, what would you do if your ex starts a rumor so evil and everyone believes, like you tried to kill your kids, and for years you was wondering why the people and strangers treated you so bad, even trying to hurt you? Yeah. Like, it's people living like that, My ex-husband did this to me. We have 3 girls, and all these years I've been wondering what the lie was that he said he made up about me to make people hate me, and it's all because he was a deadbeat dad, an abusive husband. This is a real story. Okay, thank you, ma'am. And in this moment, I stand with you, and I know people at home are listening. They standing with you. They throwing prayers into the heavens for you and your children, and that you can move through this. Yeah, but to sit and wonder what possibly could have convinced you that this was warranted or justified. Let's go to the next text, and thank you for sharing, and I hope that you and your daughters are finding peace. Good morning, Erin. I am so unimpressed by this government. We have all these big-time MPs taxing us from road traffic and raping and robbing us with our eyes wide open. We need to run this messy politicians out of office. Please hold up the bloodstained banner. God ain't pleased. Erin, the COI could be ready only if they... Texter. I know you heard me read up to the last word. Woo, Texter, thank you for that. I needed to blow off some steam this morning. I'm not going to tell y'all what the texter said, though, but just know that we have some funny Bahamians out here. Good day, Erin, and thanks for your encouragement and understanding this government shackled us with. We love you, Erin, and let's keep this government feet to the fire. Yeah, man, that's our job, right? That's the hard work for us. We have an obligation to do it. Good morning, caller.
Greene?
Good morning.
Miss Greene, my father and 5 of his brothers were taught how to sew by Winifred Smith on top of West Street Hill. They were tailors through King Street, a little tailor shop right west of the back of Cathedral Church. My father and his brothers used to make suits for the governor of the Bahamas. When I was graduating in 1970 from government, I know I wanted to be an architect. I asked him, would he teach me how to do tailoring? He sucked his teeth and told me, boy, go get yourself a job that makes sense. In 1975, when I got married, you know, it was the father of the bride supposed to do the wedding, and it was up to the groom to make sure him and his groomsmen were dressed. I went downtown to Bosan's, bought all the material for me and 5 guys. And through Gibbs Corner, a gentleman we used to call by Gary had a tailor shop. He was a Bahamian Haitian, or a Bahamian. He made suits for all of us, 3-piece olive green suits. I bought the Valari shoes for all 5 of my groomsmen, shirts and bow ties. And I got married on April the 12th, 1975 at Livelihood Baptist Church. We were being dressed by a Haitian guy in one little shop. Now you can't find a Bahamian to make a suit for a Bahamian.
Yeah.
Everybody is out of town making suit. If you want a suit made, you know who you got to go to.
But listen, the skills are so valuable, right? The seamstresses, the tailors, the tailoresses, the women who are tailors, the people who make clothes, who upholster, who make curtains. These are such valuable skills. They don't need, they don't need your money. They have just weight poured, they got weight piled up. Now, here's my problem. Why are we not taking this seriously? Why are we not acknowledging this value? Why we don't have an apprenticeship program? Mr. Bass. So now you're going to put the thing on the name. Mr. Bastian, sir, when are we going to create the next generation of tailors, clothes manufacturers, fashion designers? Give these people some economic agency, right? That's what it's about. All right, it says, also, let's raise money for therapy for Sparky. He using this radio for therapy, man. Listen, 70 gang. People love y'all. Reach out to create structures for your community, for your peers, so you could be there for one another. Good morning, Erin. Tell the sorry government send out the June 2026 light bills. Hold on, you mean the light bill ain't announced yet? Because you mean they have not posted the light bill for June 2026? Here's the text. Where is Urca? Okay, we're going to get back to that text. Good morning, caller.
It's Greene.
Yes, sir.
Sorry for calling back. Tell him I need no therapy, but you're talking about something that
not you, but somebody else. Yeah.
I know my mommy. She had a friend that used to sew. So when they cut off the cloth and all the little pieces would leave, she used to put it in a bag for my mommy. Miss Greene, my mommy, she was no big time a seamstress, but she had a sewing machine. My mommy took all of those pieces of cloth. I talking about Aaron Bailey cloth, government eye cloth, all kinds of different cloth. My mommy made a pillowcase, 2 pillowcase covers, and a sheet out of that.
Yeah.
And I was about 11 or 12, and I never forget it. After my auntie death, we were talking about that. My auntie offered my mommy $300 for that, and my mommy won't sell it that.
Yep. That's it right there.
Just all different cloth, all the kind of different cloth, but the little piece of the cloth is in the 2 pillowcase. And all that's called, Miss Norris, the lady on Marvin, Miss Norris was the real seamstress. And she used to say that was my mommy project.
Listen.
I watched my mommy knit a whole baby clothes.
Uncle, I have one empty, right? Because if the queen needed advice, she would call my auntie, right? My auntie could access anything in the world that she wanted, but she makes the finest clothing. And I think she made a wedding dress, right? Maybe for a daughter or for someone. I'm saying, right, like those who know. Those who know, and those who don't is outlet shop, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about these. I'm a part of a program trying to set up something for the summer.
Okay.
For my constituents. I hope I could find somebody who could knit and
So you're looking for crocheters?
And stuff, some older people for these young children for the summer school, man.
Okay, you're looking for people who could crochet, who could knit, who could sew, and do handy embroidery and handicraft, things like that.
Yes, even somebody who could plot, like the straw thing.
Okay, so listen, I have a friend. Her name is Leah Eneas. She's a phenomenal woman.
Eneas?
Yes. You know Fritzy Eneas, the dentist, rest in peace?
Okay. Dr. Eneas.
Right, and Cleveland Eneas,
yes,
his granddaughter. She has a brand. It's called Leah Crochet Brand.
But what you need to do, Miss Greene, get my number from your producer. Call me and let me hook up with her. Now, we ain't pay no big money, but we'll give her a good stipend. She'll be happy.
Okay, and because there are people with talent whose talent needs to be exposed, and there are people who could benefit from that exposure.
And not only that, Miss Greene, we're also looking for people who could bake bread and Johnny cake and tart. We're running a good summer camp. We're trying to put a good summer camp together.
And look here, let's see if we could get someone from a recipe from each island, because each island is do the tart different and distinct.
Different, yeah, for real.
Thank you.
You don't want no coconut, no plastic bag at the food store. You want your Grady coconut.
There you go.
Okay?
There you go.
Continue, listen. Tell him I need no therapy now. Only Sparky.
No, man, and I appreciate you using to bring in some skills to the summer camp. Here's the text. Where's IRCA? Shouldn't they be examining if Island Grid and Folk Hall have the ability to provide the service they claim, for which they took investor money, and we are paying them guaranteed revenue in the multi-millions per year? Whew. It's a lot of words. I like them. I like them so much. Where is IRCA? So, IRCA may be here's where IRCA may be. They may be at the point where they are internal lobbying for an enhancement in the scope and capacity for oversight. It could be that at this time, IRCA does not have the legislative authority to examine if Island Grid and Folk Hall have the ability to provide the service they claimed. You know, it's unfortunate, but here we are. Yeah, texter, I want you to know, I see your text. I don't want to read it out loud, but I see it, okay? 2 police officers on motorcycles escorting within this hour a jitney and several cars decorated with balloons heading down East, South, and turn Malcolm Road. What are we missing? We are missing Royal Bahamas Police Force officers that enforce traffic controls. Just as we end the show, I always want to be very careful, right? That I am not playing into a ploy, which is creating an environment where we demand draconian measures to deal with the very simple issues that are facing us, right? So that they could then turn around and say, no, our citizens asked us to implement a police state, a surveillance state. But people, come on, man. Y'all are too old, too sensible, too rich to be out here running red lights and stop signs like you ain't got no sense. You cannot be in a car that AC running and you so frustrated that you have to run the red light. Come on. What the poor people could do, the people who walk in, if they run the red light, you can knock them down and kill them. Thank you, producer, for your patience. You guys have a great day. Guardian Radio AM with C.A. Nuri is up next.
This is Guardian, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.